Recognizes the gentleman from West Virginia, Mr. Mooney, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. My questions today will be directed to Mr. Crane. Proxy advisory firms have grown significantly in influence over the last decade. Certain firms like Institutional Shareholder Services, which I'll call ISS, provide both vote research and recommendations as well as consulting services. By introducing ESG-friendly proposals which force companies to adhere to climate activist goals, some argue that a conflict of interest is created, negatively impacting the benefits to the shareholder of a company as well as their long-term interests. And let me be clear, by climate change activists, I mean folks who want to shut down the coal industry, which provides very many good jobs to hardworking taxpayers in my state of West Virginia, and also make it hard to invest in oil and gas and other important and valuable natural resources. So, Mr. Crane, institutional investors like Vanguard have fiduciary duties to their clients, correct?
Absolutely correct.
And these institutional investors are the groups who use proxy services like ISS and Glass Lewis. Is that correct also?
Also correct.
Okay. Is there any fiduciary relationship that exists between the proxy firms and the clients of the institutional investors?
No, the relationship is between the proxy firm and that institution, but that doesn't carry through to the Main Street investors that that institution represents.
Okay. So would you agree that seeing a return on investment should be the driving factor behind investment decisions?
I absolutely would. As the chairman said earlier, individuals are free to invest their money however they would like to. But when it comes to an institution who's representing Main Street investors, teachers, firefighters, manufacturing workers who are saving to send a kid to college, they have one sole responsibility, and that is ensuring that their financial returns meet the need that they've set out for themselves.
I appreciate that as a father of 2 kids in college. In 2021, ISS ranked second in major ESG rating agencies. Glass Lewis sells ESG-related products to companies while also providing vote research and recommendations. Is it appropriate for these 2 proxy firms to promote ESG products on the one hand while providing voting recommendations on the other hand?
I think it's a clear conflict of interest, and I'll give you an illuminating statistic. ISS in the most recent proxy season recommended in favor of nearly 80% of environmental and social shareholder proposals. This is at a time when the SEC has opened the floodgates to increasingly prescriptive social policy proposals, and yet still ISS found a way to get to yes 80% of the time. I think it's really clear that they have a specific agenda here, and as you said, it ties directly to the consulting services that they provide.
Thank you for that. And as a follow-up, how does ISS or Glass Lewis come up with their vote recommendations?
Frankly, Congressman, it's a pretty opaque process. You know, they function as quasi-regulators in the market, but unlike an actual regulator, there's not a notice and comment process by which they develop their policies. So they, through some process, set their standards, and then they develop the recommendations off of that. But there's not an opportunity for really anyone to influence that, and so it's really unclear how they make their decisions. What we are concerned about, of course, is that it's driven by conflicts or other agendas that are divorced from value creation for Main Street investors.
Okay, and one more follow-up to that, because I still have time. To the best of your knowledge, does ISS or Glass Lewis consider any criteria such as national security interests, foreign ownership, or the potential influence of state-owned funds may have on activist hedge funds?
It's hard to say, given the opacity of their process writ large, but to my knowledge, no, I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Well, thank you, and that exhausts my questions, Mr. Chairman. I'll go ahead and yield back the balance of my time.
No, thank you. If the gentleman will yield to me,
Yield my